Well, this is Kish Shorty Gaming Nation. Share, like, subscribe, donate, support the channel. My donation, you could donate to me. It's in the if you want to find out how to donate, it's in the description of the video, or you could go onto my YouTube about page. Right, as the title says, traditional men stand up and take charge, or defend the house that you built, or hold on, right. Unlock and order, embracing traditional masculinity in modern society. Now, what sparked this idea or this type of thinking is that oftentimes in today's society, modern society, um, traditional men trying to carry it traditionally get shamed and called insecure by both the men who are non-traditional and the women who are non-traditional. Right? Example of that, which I'm going to show some clips. Um, you have videos of Chris Brown that recently just happened, right? And Chris Brown, well, it's really not Chris Brown's fault, to be honest with you, right? Because now, if you're a single woman and you're not in a relationship with a man or a guy, and you're just a single woman, then yeah, you could go over there and take pictures of Chris Brown. You know what I'm saying? You're not obligated to anybody. You're single, right? But now you had women that were in relationships with a boyfriend, and those women knew that their boyfriend would not agree with them doing that or be cool with them doing that, and they chose to disrespect their boyfriend or break the rules of that relationship, right? So what you got non-traditional dudes who didn't contribute to building this the traditional house we call America or Western culture. What I mean by that is that you traditional men or the children of traditional men, um, and I'm talking about the men of the Victorian age, the men of the 1950s, the 1940s, the 1900s, the Victorian age of men during the 18th century, um, right? Those men, traditional men, they fought and died during World War One and Two. They fought wars after that. They fought during the Civil War, right? Including black men as well. That's why I put black men in the thumbnail because there are black men that fought in the Civil War to get the United States of America we have today. There are black men that fought in World War One and Two. There are black men that fought in the Korean War and the Japanese War and every war in this country. Black men have fought into and engaged into, which means that black men contributed to defending, fighting, and dying for this traditional house that we live in. Right? Those firefighters that ran into the 9/11 building, those were traditional men defending their traditional house, and they gave their life for for the traditional house that we live in. Right? Um, so traditional men built the house. Traditional men set the rules. Traditional men created the societal norms that gave America or Western culture its massive success we have today. And what you see on the internet is that you got non-traditional people telling traditional men that they're insecure because why are you upset with Chris Brown touching up on another man's wife or another man's girlfriend? And you're weak or you're soft. Now, in traditional sense, if a man came playing with my masculinity and calling me soft, we have to throw some hands. But because niggas can talk that shit over the internet now, they could get away with that. All right. So what I've noticed is that you have a lot of non-traditional men trying to, as my man or my OG, the angry man would say, men control and mold and shape the environment. The women respond to it, right? Now, guess what? Women are part of that now to innovate on what angry man said. The women are also part of that environment. right? So you have non-traditional men that are into non-monogamy, open relationships, and polygamy that are trying to mold the space or mold the environment to be more non-traditional. So that's why you see a lot of players, pimps, and max on this on the internet doing. They're trying to mold the space and mold the environment to suit them, to suit their hedonist lifestyles, right? So now for the black community, and I guess this is for the white community too, the black community or black culture, all they saw was pimp, player, and Mac, or the versions of masculinity that was a pimp, player, or Mac. That's all they saw. They didn't see too many traditional households. And when I say traditional households, I'm talking about where that man protect, provided, and he had and procreated, but he was also the authority in his household. He was also the patriarch in his household, right? Black culture did not see a patriarchal household. Black culture seen a more matriarchal household. So even if there was a household where it was a two parent household, where it was more traditional, it was traditional in the sense as far as the bloomers is concerned. It was traditional in the sense of where it was like a happy wife, happy life situation where that man protect, provided, and procreated, but the woman was in charge. That's what the traditional relationship that we saw in black culture, and the bloomers fucked that up, right? So because a lot of younger men did not have that traditional upbringing, where he saw a patriarchal man define the roles and the values for how the house is going to be ran, and for that woman, he has no reference point, right? Because a traditional man, and I'm going to show those things. Traditional men, they didn't allow their wife to be hugged up and groped up by another man. Matter of fact, in Victorian age of rules, if you did that to another man's wife, that man was allowed to whoop your ass or do a pistol duel with you or walk outside and throw these hands. Because for traditional men, and lions operate like this, right? For traditional men, even silverback gorillas operate like that. Where in a traditional sense, if a guy came and hugged up his wife without that man's permission, or you touched up that man's wife without that man's permission, it was a disrespect to that man name. So it wasn't really even about that woman. It's really about that man. Because now you're hugging up and you're touching my wife. You're disrespecting me. You didn't shake my hand. You didn't come talk to me. You didn't ask my permission. You sidestepped my leadership or my household to go do something to my wife. And now I have to look at my wife too because you allowed that to happen. Right? So, because a lot of black men never saw that in their household, and I don't know about for white cultures, maybe it's the same way for them too, because a lot of the younger white men, they grew up apparently they grew up in a single parent household as well, right? So because a lot of these younger men never saw that, they never got molded by traditional standards or traditional masculinity, or saw what traditional masculinity was. They only saw traditional masculinity from the standpoint of a bloomer that was in a happy wife, happy life situation where that woman was in charge, and that man was just a slave to that woman, right? So because of that, now a lot of younger men, they're running to YouTube to find masculinity, and what they're running into is players, pimps, and max that live that open relationship, non-monogamous kind of lifestyle. So now in an open relationship situation or non-monogamous lifestyle situation now, right? Um, those men really don't care about, what their girl is doing with another guy outside of them, because that's just the nature of an open relationship or non-monogamy. Non-monogamy. You're dating and you're in situations with other people, while you still have a main relationship with each other, right? So you would have to be secure. So for a man that's a non-monogamy or open relationship, you would have to be secure with your girl dating other people and having sex with other people or hugging up on other people, because that's what a non-monogamous situation is. Um open relationship is. You're dating other people. You still have a main relationship which you're into, but you're still dating and moving around other people. You understand? So it's like it's like you having a full-time job and a part-time job. That's what it's like, right? Now when it comes to a monogamous more traditional relationship where the man is in charge or more patriarchal, that man is not going to be secure with his wife touching up other people, because now you're inviting other men or another man's influence into your traditional household. See what I'm saying? On top of that, that other man is touching up on you, groping up on you, all those other things. So what you have now is you have non-traditional women who are disrespecting their men, and you have non-traditional men shaming those guys or shaming those men for having traditional standards or traditional values, right? And because there's no traditional voice pushing back besides an angry man or Anton Daniels or a couple other men, right? There's not enough of those men pushing back or making those arguments now, right? Um, the men are gonna get molded by the pimp player and Mac. And the reason why the pimp player Mac is appealing to a lot of younger men is because a lot of younger men in their 20s, their their testosterone is high. So they're looking to get box, right? And the player and the pimp and the Mac who are non-traditional, that's the area they specialize in. So those men are gonna go to those men, and those men are gonna give those men advice on how to get box. And in that instance, they're gonna give those men play a type of game, which I don't disagree with. Again, I say, like I said, my position is black men are free, so you're entitled to live your life the way you want to live it, and you're entitled to get the kind of results in which way you want to live your life. My thing is, or my issue is that when those men speak against traditional men, see, a player and a Mac and a pimp, you guys have to understand is that you're in a traditional house built by traditional rules, built by traditional. So it's one thing that you're in that those men's house. It's another thing now when you want to disrespect those men in that house. It's the traditional man's house. So if they don't like how and so if those men don't like how the women are acting, those traditional men have a right to say something about it and complain about it and make noise about it, like a lion or a silverback gorilla in their territory, and they don't like how their lionesses are misbehaving, right? So those brothers got to understand, if black men want to be traditional in a traditional moral house and create that traditional setting, you have to respect those men. You're in their house. And those men have every right to shame you, critique you, hold you accountable, go to war with you because you're disrespecting them in their house. You know what I'm saying? And then you're telling the women in their house to rebel against them. So I want to let you players understand that you're teaching women to rebel against and be disrespectful to our traditional men in a traditional man's house. That's what you're doing. Just to let you know, that's equivalent to when God told Eve not to eat the apple, and Eve disrespecting God and Adam and listening to the serpent to eat the apple. That's what that's equivalent to, right? So let's go. Let's look at Chris Brown thing. Let's look at this Chris Brown thing, right? Chris Brown. It's funny to me how women are asking, black women like to ask for traditional men, but you got to understand, black women are asking for the bloomer version of what a traditional man is, because the bloomer version of what a traditional man is is gonna be like Steve Harvey and let his wife do a whole bunch of stuff and him not saying about it anything about it, or it's gonna be the happy wife happy life thing where that traditional that bloomer guy sat there, said nothing, didn't complain about it, nothing. He just went to work, came home very stoic when his woman was being disrespectful to him, and she just did what she wanted to do. See, the silent generation and the greatest generation, they were very stoic. They didn't complain much. But guess what the silent generation and the greatest generation, guess how they operated? When that woman did something that they didn't like, that's when they complained and made noise. And they said something about it. And they argued about it. And they made noise about it. And those women had to listen and adjust. Or if they didn't listen to the silent generation of men, those silent generation of men was gonna go find a chick somewhere else. Right? Let's go.
Columbus. Oh, Columbus. Yep. Literally after my picture went viral, my boyfriend broke up with me about a week later after arguing because he felt like Chris was too close on me. I'm just like, it's one of the most respectable pictures. It wasn't like I was bending over grabbing my ankles. But I would trade my ex for meeting Chris Brown 100 more times. So definitely really, really right there. This is
Mind you, Chris Brown, she would have to pay $6,000 because Chris Brown. So yo, big up Chris Brown, bro. Like Chris Brown, you're a very, very intelligent brother, bro. Because you said if you wouldn't want me to hug you, you're gonna have to pay me for that. So that's Chris Brown recognizing the value of his masculinity. So shout out to Chris Brown, right? Um, she would have to pay $6,000, and now when she gets older and she can't find her a good brother now, she's gonna be crying like Ebony K. Williams, where all the good men went at, right? And what the player and Pip and Mac are gonna say is that those good men were tricks and suckers and lames. That's what the players is gonna do. All right. And the reason why the players on the internet do that is because they want the women to continue to be lawless and out of order, so that the players could benefit from benefit from box, right? And I think the players on here, see, they want the women to stay in disarray, so that they can always seek a man to help them fix themselves. So it's because now if the women were in order and stuff, well, to be honest with you, I think if the women were in order and they had their shit together, they would still want a man. Like women still want a man, no matter if she's out of order or if she's in order or she's doing what she wants to do. She's still seeking a man. Like she's still like even the women are on here, right? That's about their business. That maybe comparable to Ebony K. Williams, they still seek a man's validation. They still want to know if a man still finds them valuable, right? The problem with the women that are into that want to make their money, which I have no issue with that, is that those women, you still have to respect men, because you wouldn't be in a position to make that type of money if not for the men. Black women, if not for your black men fighting the wars that they fought in this country, especially the Civil War and World War I and II, you would not be in a position to make the money you're making today. But anyway, let's go into this video on what was said.
This is from Columbus. Oh, Columbus. Yep. Literally after my picture went viral, my boyfriend broke up with me about a week later after arguing because he felt like Chris was too close on me. I'm just like, it's one of the most respectable pictures.
Baby girl. See, this is why women are subjective, right? Because she's thinking about what's respectable according to her. She's not thinking about what's disrespect according to her man, right? Now, players gonna say, well, Chris Brown is threatening that man's masculinity, or being threatening towards that man's masculinity, because or the men feel threatened by that man's masculinity because that man is insecure about Chris Brown. Uh, That's bullshit. Oh, hold on. Let's go with that logic, right? Well, if you're a traditional man, let's say you're part of the Jewish community, or you're part of the Islamic faith. According to the Jewish community or the Islamic community, it's against the rules for a woman or a Jewish woman to touch a man or be in or like this how right here. It's against the like how Chris Brown is hugging this chick right here. It's against the rules for another man or that woman to be touched by another man that's not her husband or her spouse or she's engaged into with. That's the rules of the Jewish community, and that's the rules of the Islamic faith. Now, if the women go against what the rules of the Jewish community, she's gonna be shamed and shunned. See what I'm saying? So, according to Jewish men and Islamic men, right? It's they would not be insecure for that because that's just their rules, right? But a player is gonna say that you men who have more traditional values that you're insecure because Chris Brown is a threat to your masculinity. Well, it would be. Well, guess what? It would be. You know why? Because it violated the rule that those traditional rules. It was a disrespect towards that man. It's the same thing with lions. Do you know there's a lion whisperer on YouTube by the name of Gene Snyder? I think his name is. He has ashen hair, and one of the videos that I watched, he said that he has to pay respect to the male lion before he approaches the female lions because the male lion is going to look at that as being disrespectful. You're disrespecting me because you're rubbing up on my female lionesses and you didn't approach me and pay me no respect before you did that. So lions operate that way, and you can't go step to a lion and tell him you're insecure. That lion is going to eat your fucking neck off, right? So let's keep going.
And it never grabbing my ankles. But
Look how she blinked her eye when she said that. Right? Even if you were not doing that, I get it if this woman was single and by herself, she could do what she want to do because she's single. But now you're entering a relationship, and according to your man, and it'd be something different if if it was a non-monogamous relationship or open relationship. I understand. I would understand that, right? But you're in a relationship that's supposed to be monogamous, where this guy is taking you serious, right? And you disrespected that man, so that's why that man broke up with you.
I would trade my ex for meeting Chris Brown 100 more times.
That's $10,000. Now, the traditional guy, he did what he was supposed to do. He broke up with the girl after he had the argument, right? Now, this is why I say arguing with a woman is not weak, and it doesn't make you insecure. And let me further explain. Because now she knows why she got broke up with, or she doesn't have a boyfriend. That boyfriend made the argument with the chick. The chick didn't apologize to her man, or she kept arguing with her man. So now the boyfriend broke up with her. The boyfriend dumped her. So now she can't say, "Well, my boyfriend broke up with me, and I don't know why." Now she not because the argument was made by the boyfriend, right? And he broke up with her. Now here's the thing where I'll put it on the man now. If this chick did something like that you didn't like or was disrespectful to you, and you was gonna keep arguing with her about it and not break up with her or nothing like that, then I'd say it's your fault because she did something that you know was wrong with you. And now, rather than you arguing with her and just breaking up with her, you're gonna argue with her and still be in a relationship with her. Or say, for example, you was arguing with her and she apologized to you and she never did it again. And now you're gonna keep arguing with her about doing it. About what she did. After she said she was sorry and she apologized and she held herself accountable to you and never did it again. Right? So there's different levels of arguing. Right? If you argue with a chick and she did something wrong and she doesn't correct herself, you break up with her. Like if she, like in this situation when this girl hugged Chris Brown, right? Right. So that's one stage of the argument. The next level of the argument is if you do argue with her and she does correct herself and she never does this instance again, and you keep bringing up the argument. Now that I'd have to say, look at the guy and say, well, you should have just broke up with her if you didn't like her doing it in the first place, or you shouldn't keep arguing with her after she held herself accountable to you and not did what she did again, right? So there's levels to arguing, but in general, this is why I say arguing is not weak, especially if you're a man and you're arguing about something. That's a valid argument, right? And you have to have the logical argument, not an emotional one. All right, so let's go to Usher. Okay, I guess it's Winnie Harlow. We'll see what happens. Look how quick Winnie Harlow sat on her man's lap. So she has respect for her man's leadership and she held herself accountable to her man. She values that relationship of that man. Right? Now, niggas like Usher and Chris Brown, they know who which girl to do that. Well, Chris Brown in Chris Brown instance, right? He charged them chicks $1,000. So I respect more Chris Brown to that for that reason. Right? But niggas like Usher, they know who to do this with. They know who they could get away with this with. Right? So let's look at something else. Now, the traditional men are supposed to be irate and upset. And let me say something else. Um, before I say that, let me go to Alicia Keys. The Alicia Keys one. No, another brother's taken. Look at her rubbing up on her back and her booty. Now, when this happened, uh, do you know that the powers that be do shit like this to gauge the black community? To see how the black community is going to respond? To see how black men in the leadership is going to respond? They do that on purpose to see if black men are still traditional or if they're weak. See, if black men were traditional or Alicia Keys' husband was more traditional, right? He would have had an issue with Usher. If the men were more traditional, they would have had an issue with this. They would have said, hold on. Alicia Keys, you're in a relationship with your man. You shouldn't have Usher rubbing up on your butt. That goes against black culture and our societal standards. That goes against what the leadership of black culture represents. Right? But guess what? A lot of black men was cool with this, and a lot of the black women were cool with this. Because black women convinced you, and black women got a lot of them player niggas to convince a lot of you men that you should be secure with another guy rubbing up on your wife. So black women disarmed you, your traditional black masculinity, and they got the players to disarm you of your traditional black masculinity, which made a lot of y'all weak. So that's how the society is going to look at black cultures, that y'all allow a lot of bullshit to happen, non-traditional shit in your society to happen, right? Um, Let me fix something. Let's go here. Did she rub her? He rubbed her butt, right? Look at that. Look at that reaction. See what I'm saying? And I think Swiss Beats is supposed to be Islamic. Hold on. Let me look up what Swiss Beats. Swiss Beats Islamic. Let me see. Let me see. Because I think we're gonna look at TikTok. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'll just do that later. Um, I did not know Swiss Beats was Jamaican. Have Jamaican and Puerto Rican. I did not know that. Um, Let me see. Ice Cube, J Electra Freeway, Beanie Siegel, Lil Durk, French Busta Rhymes, PNB Rock, Swiss Beats. Okay. Let's see. Oh, look right here. Swiss Beats is a devoted Muslim. All right. The Bronx bred super producer made his mark. Oh no. So we're not gonna read all that. We're gonna read this. Swiss Beats has always advocated for more attention to be paid to underrepresented religious groups. The hip hop icon is a devoted Muslim who said in a previous interview, Allah is my only boss. All right. So let me see if I can find that interview. See if I found him saying it. So he's a Muslim. Let's look up Muslim culture. All right. In traditional Islam. Let's look what that says. Let's look at this. Mm. Let's see that. You know what? I'm gonna start doing that because I'm a religious person. I did not know that part, right? When I was studying in the Moore Science Temple of America and those other places, I didn't know these things. But I'm gonna adopt that. I'm going to adopt that one. Hold on, I did kind of used to do that though. If it was a chick I wasn't dating and we were just talking casually, I would either give you a fist bump or elbow dab. Fist bump or elbow dab. That's how I would do it. Right? I still even do that to this day. Right? Let's see. Go. Um, visitors. He's Muslim, baby girl. You see how black women train y'all to be non-traditional? Now, I just told you how Islamic women are. I mean, how Islamic men are, right? And look how this is. Swiss Beats, no, because if Swiss Beats come out and he speaks his mind, both the black men and the black women in the black culture are going to call him insecure and shame him. You're going to see videos calling him, he's soft, all that other BS. See what, you see what she's saying? That's how a lot of you player niggas talk on this internet. That's why I side eye when you use words like insecure. And in that context, right? Because women like to use insecure to shame men into accepting something or into accepting some kind of goofiness. So when a woman is doing something that's breaking the rules of traditionalism, or they want the men to accept her non-traditional BS, they'll say she's insecure. They'll say that that man is insecure because he won't accept her doing whatever she want to do. In that instance, if that woman is not correcting herself and she's gonna call you insecure, that man just need to let her go and don't even argue with her. You understand? So that's how women use it. The men on YouTube, the players, they do the same thing. The difference between a grown ass man, if you start fucking and trying to manipulate my manhood and my masculinity, we supposed to throw hands and fight. See what I'm saying? But anyway, um, let me see something. In Islam, can a be? Here it is. In Islam, this is called right. It's wrong for a Muslim woman to sleep with another man in a room, but not on the same bed. It's forbidden for a Muslim man to be alone with a woman, and also for a Muslim woman to be alone with another man. And this is quotes. The Prophet of Islam, peace and of Allah be upon him, said, "No man is alone with a woman, but the shaitan will be the third one present." This is what Islam says. Yes. And he says, yes, it's not allowed, as Muhammad P. Bub said. What? Said that when a woman and a man are alone in a room, there are three: the woman, the man, and Satan. Woo! But if it's emergency, then it's allowed. Like in shelter that has no rooms, no place for you to sleep except that room, and etc. Hope that answers you. So, whew, this is funny. So that answers the question right there. You know what I'm saying? And since Beats is a Muslim, did that politically correct damn answer, because he couldn't say what he wanted to say. Because Swiss Beats supposed to break up with Alicia Keys right there. You know what I'm saying? All right, so I would have went with Usher and Kiki Palmer. You know what? Fuck it. Let's go with that. Remember, at this time, black women were saying because Kiki Palmer makes more money than her ex husband and stuff or whatever. And I remember at this time, black women were saying, "Well, if I'm making more money than my man, I'm still gonna respect my man and honor my man and all that other good stuff." This was in complete. And when this happened, and Kiki Palmer's son Darius, and she even called him Kiki Palmer's partner Darius. When Darius got upset, the entire internet attacked Darius and said, "Darius, you ain't making enough money to be saying anything and this and that." How she's dressed. This is supposed to be a woman in a relationship with a man. Now again, if Kiki Palmer was a single lady woman, absolutely, she cool. She ain't obligated to nobody. She only obligated to herself. She could do what she want to do. But she was in a relationship, a monogamous one. Look at that. Darius is correct. Remember, black women said they would respect a black man if she's making more money than him, right? So when they say that, they mean they would respect his authority, what he don't like, and his boundaries. So let's go. We live in a generation where a man of the family doesn't want the wife or and mother to his kids to showcase booty cheeks to please others, and he gets told how much of a hater he is. This is my family and my representation. I have standards and morals to what I believe. Yo, so look, yo, again, traditional values, traditional principles. Kiki Palmer violated these rules, and a lot of you black ass niggas who are players and pimps and max, and a lot of you women, you said that Darius was insecure for not having principles and rules. I mean, my fault. Y'all called Darius insecure for having principles and rules. And the women said he wasn't making enough money to have any principles and rules over Kiki. While at the same time, at the time, those same black women would say we will respect a man that they make more money than. So now, I think that was the play that black women were playing, right? And I think it's a play overall where society's trying to convince the men that if you were to get that Not to worry about making more money than a woman. Still get into a relationship with a woman that's making more money than you, right? Because they're gonna respect you. But in reality, did that happen? No, right? You should have gone on Twitter, looked up all the posts where those women were saying, or black women were saying, you need to be making more money than Kiki Palmer to have any say. Which Darius Jackson was he was a football player, I think, and he was making six figures as a personal trainer. So it wasn't like he was a Pookie or Ray Ray. He was making good money before he met Kiki Palmer, right? So my damn, I put my damn oh, right here. So let's go. Oh shit, no! Don't you go to Angry Man show? Yeah. All right. Um, let's go to. So yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing that. Go back to the live stream. Stop sharing that. So I'm gonna talk from here on out. Um, so yeah, to traditional men, right? Um, it's your house that you built. You built it. The societal norms, traditional men built it and defined them and made those sacrifices, fought wars with other countries, bled and gave their lives to create those societal norms or those social norms that everybody wants to go against now. Those same societal norms is what everybody who's going against them now are benefiting from, right? So don't let other men who want to go against or rebel against your house tell you or shame you and tell you you're insecure because you want to obtain the rules and those social norms of your house. It's your house that you built it. And you're supposed to be goddamn mad because you got men in your house telling the women to rebel against you. It's like when God told Adam and Eve not to eat the apple, and the serpent tricked Eve to eat the apple. That's what that's like. So you have every right as traditional men, both black and white men, because black men help to mold the space into what it is now. Traditional black men, nuclear family black men, patriarchal black men help to mold the space that we are in now. Those same societal norms that everybody wants to go against and not follow is what's keeping the house going and afloat. It's the foundation for the house. Like now again, I don't mind niggas being players. I don't mind niggas being pimps. Well, I really don't like pimps. I really despise pimps. But I don't mind niggas being max. I don't mind niggas going out there and smashing all day if you want to. Right? I don't mind the chicks that I don't even mind 304s. Do your thing. You're playing a part in a good part in society. You're part of the ecosystem. A 304 has always been part of the ecosystem. As a matter of fact, traditional men, the rules of traditional men was let the hoes be hoes and my bad, let the hoes be hoes and let the ladies be ladies. Right? Now, the reason why traditional men, even of the Victorian age, because you have brothels in the Victorian age, right? How the Victorian age set the standards were that if you were a lady, you would get monogamous relationship, you would get wifed up, you would get the kids, you get all this, you get the money, you get the protection, you get the provision. A 304 didn't get anything during the Victorian age. She didn't get shit. All she got was smashed and dashed, and that was it. And that was it. So those always have been traditional rules, right? And traditional men, they made sure to separate Even amongst men, that was that way, right? The broke dude on the corner is not was not the same to the gentleman of middle class and upper class or upper echelon of man, right? So the traditional men set rules and categories to put people in certain space to put people in certain spaces, right? If you were 304, you didn't get relationship, you didn't get the gentleman treatment. If you're a lady or a good woman, then you got gentleman treatment. Then you got chivalry and those things. But if you were 304 on the street at a brothel, you didn't get nothing. You got 304 treatment, right? And what the players of today is they're trying to mold the environment where you treat all the women like that, right? Now, when I say this now, as a man, you're supposed to be consistently you. Now, if you're a player, you be a consistent player, no matter if the chick rejects you or not. So now, if you're a player and you approach a lady and she rejects you, still be a player and just know that you can't get with the lady. You got to get you with a 3 or 4 or something like that. Same thing for a gentleman or a traditional guy. If you're a traditional guy, right, and you approach a chick and she's a 3 or 4, and she presents you as a 3 or 4, and you're operating off of traditional rules, she only gets treated like you treat her like a 3 or 4. You're still a traditional guy operating off of traditional rules, but she doesn't get protection, provision, or procreation, right? She just gets fun and done. But if you're a traditional guy and you want to cross a lady, she actually gets the opportunity to get dated, to get courted. She courts you, you court her, dating, and she gets the opportunity to get a relationship out of you. But the 3 or 4, she doesn't. All she gets is fun and done. That's always how been traditional men have been doing it. So that's nothing new. Traditional men treating the 3 or 4 as a 3 or 4, but then treating the lady somewhat different, or not somewhat different, treating the lady differently. That has always been. That has always been. So, but anyway, this is Kiss Shawty Gaming Nation. Subscribe, support, donate, like, and share the channel. I'm out.